So today is the day. Finally get to undercoat the cab. It's been a long time coming and it feels good to be this far. That means that the cab is completely free of rust. All the panels have been repaired and I'm ready to start putting the truck back together, kind of. Right now I'm sitting in my friend's 67 that's sitting out here, and you might have seen it just in passing from the last video. And then out there is an 81. We're taking the engine from that one. It's got a 300 inline in it, and we're putting it in this one that has a 240. And a 240 is going to be mine. And I'm thinking I'm going to build a coffee table out of it. I mean, I don't know. The engine went, and there's nothing I'm going to do with it. So I'm working on salvaging some of these parts. All this stuff out here. People that contact me, whether it be through my Facebook or through forums on the internet. Hey, do you have this part? Do you have that part? Yeah, here you go. And so I've been making a little bit of money. I'm not trying to make a profit, but just enough to kind of keep me going because nobody pays me for all this. But anyway, he did a decent job in it. It didn't look nearly as good when he started. And he did some work. He painted the interior, put a new headliner in, new seat. So I think he did a decent job on it. It's pretty nice. I'm not sure if he put these speakers in or not, but he's not here right now to ask him. So let's get over there and I'll show you what I got going on with this undercoating. I got the cab cradle. That was the one that I built. Oh gosh, when was that? That was the third episode, I think, whenever I took the cab off and I built this cradle for it. So I've been using it ever since and it works great. You remember when I sprayed the whole cab in epoxy, or not the whole cab, excuse me, but I got the whole underside in epoxy and then I seam sealed. I've also got it down here. I've seam sealed down here and in these areas. The cab corners, these are the internal ones that were all completely rusted through. Those are now finished. Cab corners on the outside are completed, and I've got the vast majority of the cab now in epoxy. 2 good thick coats of epoxy. Got a couple runs. It's not perfect, but it'll be sanded down for the fill primer. But kind of give you a good perspective there. So I've got the whole thing in epoxy. It looks good. It looks clean. I don't think it's looked this good in a long time. Caveat to that is the roof is not in epoxy yet. I've got just the edges cleaned up. I need to strip the whole thing and then I'll get that in epoxy, and the same thing with the back, which is right now on the bottom. All that down there needs to be coated in epoxy too. Here are those corners. There's the one, and that's the passenger side. That's the one you saw me do already. And there's the driver, or the, excuse me, yeah, the driver's side. So there's the driver's side. So those are on. Those are on and complete. So what am I going to be doing for undercoating? Well, I'm going to be using this Raptor made by U-POL. And this is just the black one, but you can also get it in tintable, which is white, and then you add your color to it. It's a great kit. It comes with the spray nozzle. It comes with the 4 bottles and the hardener. So I first heard about that when I bought this CJ. And I was researching the CJ, trying to get information on it, and I came across this U-POL stuff. So I said, okay, well, let's give it a shot. See what we've got going on. The CJ, by the way, will be a restoration project in the future. Goal first is to get Bonnie back on the road, and then I'll work on that one. It needs a new tub. It's going to be easier than replacing, working on what's on there. But anyway, so the first thing I need to do is I need to sand all of this from this seam right up here, and it goes down and then down. All of this is going to be covered. I'm also going to come around here, kind of right in this area, just to wrap around this front edge here. Maybe use this line right here, just this front edge, and wrap around. All this is going to be undercoated as well, because this underneath the inner fender is exposed to rocks and gravel and things that get kicked up, so that'll protect it. So first thing I need to do, U-POL recommends scuffing up your paint or your primer or whatever it is that you've got down with 80 to 180 grit. So I am going to contract my wife to get out here. We'll get it done half the time, and I'm going to hit this with 180 grit. I don't want to get too aggressive, and I don't want to burn through my primer. I like the epoxy on there, so I don't want to burn through it. If you do burn through it, you want to hit it with an etch primer. Anywhere there's bare metal, you want to hit it with etch primer and then let that etch primer set up before you spray the undercoating. And those are per the U-POL's directions. I've never used this product before, but I do read directions, and I find that they know what they're talking about. Okay, so let's see what we can do as far as getting this thing scuffed up, because that's what needs to happen. Got all of this sanded with the 180. We're taping it off. You can see right here, this is where the tape line is going to be. This right here is going to have the undercoat on it. We got her up there right now. It's weird to have help in the shop because I've done everything by myself up to this point. As I was going through, I found a little tiny spot, a little pinhole that I had in my weld here. And I don't know how the heck I never saw that. So I had to bust out the welder real quick and I popped it. There's a nice healthy bead right there that is not coming off anytime soon. I'll deal with that later. But here she is. Rip Wifer 13. She came up with herself. So anyway, we've got this all sanded down. We cleaned it down with isopropyl. And I'm going to tape it all off. I'm going to use plastic sheeting over everything, and then we're going to we'll end up wiping it down again, and then we'll actually shoot it.
Pressure's on. Everybody's watching.
Yeah, all 15 of them. So while she's down there, we're finishing up. We've got the plastic all the way around. It's all taped off. And she's finishing up with the drop cloth down below. And that's attached to the truck. We'll pull it out. That way I don't paint my concrete any more than I already have. Acid burn, epoxy. I don't even know what that is. Got self-etch primer. This is for, see if I can find a spot. Okay, so there's a little spot. little tiny itty bitty spot right there. There's a couple spots where the sandpaper burned through. Right there. So right here on these high spots. Tried to go really, really light and gentle, but it didn't work perfectly. So, oh well. Got the self-etch primer. I can top coat this within 30 minutes, so I'm going to shoot this down. And by the time I'm done with everything, I should be ready to go, but I'm going to wait that 30-minute window and then shoot the whole thing and be done with it. I just want to touch it. I'm not trying to paint the whole thing. Shop's a mess. It's just getting worse. Here's the U-POL kit. It comes with the spray gun. I've attached the nozzle, the pickup tube, and I've also attached an air regulator down here so I can adjust the air pressure at the gun. U-POL recommends 50 psi, so we'll see how well that works. And here's the stuff itself. Now, like with the epoxy, there was an induction time, but I went through all the instructions and all the directions, and I could not find that this has an induction time. Basically, you shake it, or you mix it up, you shake it, and you shoot it. So I couldn't find anything that said that it has to sit after you mix it up. So basically, you take this bottle, and you open it up, and then you take the hardener, and you fill the hardener up. You just pour it into the bottle up to this line. You can see it right through the top. The little nozzle pulls up right here, and then this twists off. And I'm going to pour it up to this line on the inside here. There it is. Close up the lid and shake it. You want to get this mixed in thoroughly, so that way it actually lays out and you don't have problems where it never cures soft spots in the paint. It's a urethane base paint, so it doesn't have any kind of rubber in it. It's not a rubberized undercoating or anything like that. This is just polyurethane. It's a 2K or a two-part binary polyurethane, which is essentially a plastic. It's a polymer. It's not a rubber. We'll get this shaken up, and then we'll start spraying it onto the truck. After fine-tuning both on my compressor and the regulator, I've got it at 50 psi at the nozzle. So we'll see what kind of pattern this lays down. I'm going to do 2 coats. The first coat's going to be a light coat. Might come out kind of splotchy. I've never actually used this product before, but that's what I'm planning on, is a light coat just to kind of give me a surface, and then I'll go over it again and I'll fill it in and give myself an even layer. Because it's something that I would ask. That's one can, it's a light coat. You can see that it's kind of splotchy. And I've got one area here where I didn't get it at all, so I need to go in there. I need to mix up another can of it and I think the pot life is fine, it can sit, but this needs to flash off for an hour. It's friggin' bright. Yeah, I'm headed out. I'm gonna go do my second coat. It's been an hour. I went inside and relaxed. My wife's playing a game right now. She's enjoying her day. I don't blame her. Frickin' A, dude. It is bright. Had a beer. Had a couple beers. Ready to do this. So let's see what we got. Got the first coat on. It's kind of splotchy, but that's how it's supposed to look. A little spot right there is a little bit more splotchy than I wanted it to look, but oh well. Now we'll get the good coat on there, get it nice and full, make sure that it's all evenly distributed, and it's going to look pretty when it's done. I was filming and my camera overheated, so I went back inside. I'm like, let me grab a beer. Got the pupper. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to take the tape off in a second. So I've got got two good coats on it. Got that first kind of light coat, like misting it. And then I got the second coat that's on real good and thick. I got it from every angle. You saw me, I was lying down, I was getting in from underneath. Just making sure that everything's protected. Quinn out here to help. Hey! Yeah, you probably don't want to like that. It stinks, doesn't it? You gonna help? You gonna help pull the tape down? Get in the way? Run off while we're doing stuff, and then we won't see you and freaking take off into the woods? 'Cause that's what you do, because you're a freaking jerk. Yeah, you're a jerk. I love you. So we're gonna start taking all this plastic off. My wife says it's peel porn. Good. Thinking, might want gloves for this. I swear, I never had this problem before. I want to do it. You let me.
Well, if you're such an amateur peeler.
Yeah, I know, right? Ooh, that left a nice tape line.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Oh, come on.
Party foul.
Frickin' patty whacking. Tall person help. Whoop.
Yeah, let's get all this right here.
Oh yeah, tip the hell up.
Yeah.
Look at those clean lines.
Oh, so nice.
So nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do it right. Let's get under here. Let's see what we see. Oh, yep. This glove's causing more of a freaking hassle than it's
I told you
worth.
I've got absolutely nothing on my hands.
These gloves.
Gloves are focused.
Gloves are stupid. Hashtag faulty ISO settings. You look dark. Okay.
Thanks, I've been out in the sun. Twinnie Pie, where'd you go, baby?
She's right there by the 67. I just saw her run over there. Quinn!
What are you doing on the thing?
The dog's a pain in the butt, but I love her so much.
What are you doing with that?
She found that spot, didn't she? What a freaking butthead.
You were hitting that.
Alright, she's off chasing the dog. And I'm dealing with pulling off the rest of this tape. But that's it for now. I've got it completely coated. This needs to set up for 5 to 7 days according to the Instructions, high heat. It's 95 degrees right now, makes it a little bit faster. So we'll say 5 days or so. Get this cab flipped down. And the next thing I'm thinking, but don't quote me on that, is filling in this dash. That's what I'm planning on doing. Is filling in all these little holes in this grill right here, because I'm not going to be putting the pad back on it. She likes it better. She says she likes it better plain. Alright guys, well, I appreciate you watching, sticking around for this long. I will catch you later. Hey! There you go.